Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Taking a quick look here at AVAX. I want to point out a few important factors. We do have a descending wedge type of pattern here that could potentially break to the upside, but also potential bottom here as well. So we'll talk about that and a few other things. I'm not trying to get your hopes up at all. Trust me on this. I've been fairly bearish on AVAX for a while now, and I can tell you that it's not really looking good. I'm super happy. I know it sounds kind of weird. Super happy we hit our stop loss in our community here recently because we mitigated a lot more loss. Okay, so truth is, we took a long here recently, I think in the low 40s, upper 30s, and the price action didn't work out very well as a result of Fed meeting, right? So having said all that, now that the price action is where it's tremendously lower than where our stop loss was, and I'm thankful that we honored that. Again, it's important to use stop losses in trading. It's a very normal thing. Try not to overread it and overthink it. At this point, though, let's go ahead and look at liquidation levels and kind of see where we're at. This is the last 3 months worth of liquidation. I was actually looking at a bigger picture for ICP because it's looking pretty terrible. Most coins are looking pretty bad right now, but a lot of them are getting closer to their bottom. Now, this coin may not be at its bottom. I don't think we are there yet, but on the same accord, there's a lot of reasons why a slight relief rally would make sense, and I'll explain more by that here in a minute. This is the last 1 month's worth of liquidation. We can see tons of liquidation above the price action, very little below. There's almost no reason why the price keeps going lower. We did lose that support level at 30, which we can kind of see reflected here on the charts as far as that lower 29.50 range. That area right there of support between 29.50 and 31 roughly, that area has since lost its bottom. So we can pretty much presume the price is going to either retest that as a resistance or not at all. Okay, but no matter how you look at it, all liquidation levels to the downside have pretty much been swept, no matter every single time frame you look at. So it's pretty bad, but the truth is it shouldn't go too much lower because of that. Okay, again, there's less incentive to push the price action down because nobody wants to take a long, and why keep selling if there's nobody buying, right? It doesn't make a ton of sense. So at this point here, let's take a look at the daily and kind of work our way down. Let's start with the weekly. I think it's important to kind of get a perspective on that. We do have potential for a Elliott wave to the downside here with an ABC relief rally. We'll talk about that in a minute. But if we look at the weekly time frame, we can kind of see we're right there at the 50-day SMA. It's interesting. Most coins, altcoins specifically, are hitting their 50-day SMA today. So in that regard, that's a positive sign because it's generally construed as a support range. But we can't go crazy either. Just say you take a long position, you're going to consider a long, you better secure profits somewhere between now and $36 because $36 is that point of control for this coin, at least in the relative recent past here. Okay, so ever since we've been in this range here, about $22 plus, we can see $36 is that point of contention, the most interest people have in that level, basically implying that's a resistance now. I know it seems weird, but that's how it works. Taking a look here at the time frames here, just really quick on the weekly, we're now under 50 on the RSI. We can see we're swinging down stochastically, and MACD is diverging. All bearish signs. So if we have one last leg of defense, $22.50, 22-ish, that range there of $22, that's where the next area of support is based on this simple moving average. And that's also an area in which we saw a lot of consolidation before the price legged up too. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see somewhere in that range. To me personally, if we see that ever happen, I'm going to go ahead and just set a loose alert here right now. That may be a good consideration for a spot bag purchase order. Speaking of which, too, I think I'm going to start bringing back some spot signals to our community. So I'll run a poll here soon, but I'm thinking that might be a good call now that we're progressing down with a lot of price action. It's important to recognize those things. Okay, having said all that, Avalanche, what are we looking at here? Well, $28.40 is the current price action. We have this lower descending trend line here. So if you kind of zoom out a little bit, you can see this is a falling wedge type of pattern here where the price action works itself into a type of squeeze, and generally it works its way up. Okay, now again, the reason why that happens is because it generally, in most cases, it establishes double bottom or close to a double bottom with a descending trend. But more importantly, with that descending trend line, once you break this top line, that's when you consider a break. So we're a long ways from that. I just want to kind of give you a heads up. We are forming a falling wedge pattern, and this is definitely a good consideration for a long eventually once we have confirmation. We're a long ways away from that too, no pun intended. So taking a look here at the daily time frame, let's quickly note we're close to 30 on the RSI, generally a favorable place for a bounce. And while it may not be perfect, the last time we saw 30 in the RSI, price action recovered right here in this range. Okay, so it took a few days, but it got back up above that descending trend line and rode it out and continued sideways. So AVAX has not been a magnificent performer by any stretch. If we take a look here, of course, we're looking at stochastic swinging down in MACD as well. all bearish signs here on the daily. We're also below every single moving average right now, and that's not a good sign. So the truth is, getting above the 20-day SMA initially is the only thing that's going to be kind of that that helpful factor that we're semi sort of back on track. At this point, we can see everything is bearish here on the 4-hour time frame. Really don't even need to explain why. We can just see a lot of divergences here, and it's just not looking favorable at all. Everything is truly bearish. Now again, oftentimes as soon as things hit this critical state of being super bearish, they do have a tendency of returning and somewhat of a relief rally. So if there is going to be a relief rally, it makes sense for it to come up to this low $31 mark and potentially reject out there. Okay, so we got our 1 through 5 here. It would make sense for us to see an ABC pattern here, something along these lines, potentially. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there. This is strictly hypothetical, but this 0.236 fib level, as well as that being a recent support level, that leads me to believe 3150 is a new resistance, and if the price does come up there, that'd be an excellent shorting opportunity to our B pattern, or in general, ensure you secure profits if you insist on taking a long right now. I do not recommend it, but here's the one thing you do got to recognize: massive overextensions here on the hourly. I mean, if we zoom in here, we take a look at TD sequential, we can recognize 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've been moving to the downside for almost 18 hours straight. That's a pretty big overextension. We look at that on the 4-hour too, we're at a 6. So hypothetically, by the end of today's trading day, we should be in a position to see the price have found its bottom for the moment. Again, Bitcoin's likely to pull back too, so why wouldn't Avalanche? A lot of altcoins are getting reset almost to their original, most recent high, or their previous high, and it's just not a favorable situation. I don't think we're quite bottomed out yet, but this is looking like the bottom. We just got to give it some time to be able to see if it holds before we take a trade. Again, I know, wait until this time tomorrow and the trade's already in profit and you missed out on it totally. That's how being a patient trader works. So to my community members watching, I can tell you it's not an exact science. Trading is challenging at times. It's become much more challenging since big money's involved, because there's just nothing but ripsaws and a lot of manipulation. So it's very unfortunate, but it's par for the course, folks. We all got to stick together and work together here to figure it out. If you want to, have that option, join our trading community. I would recommend, of course, watching my university videos over and over until it sinks in. Get some good, solid foundation of becoming a better trader. And just realize that nobody's perfect too. We hit some stop losses here recently for our swing trades, but our day trades ended up working out quite favorably. So I mean, you take a look at this here: XRP, ETH, Chainlink, Litecoin, Solana, Matic, Solana, Cardano. Only thing we see here that isn't present is AVAX, and that's just because it uses larger moving averages to take trades. So either way, things are looking quite ugly right now. It's probably best just to kind of pump the brakes, relax, take it easy. Once more, if you want to join us over on Twitter, Telegram, or Discord, I got a lot of playout charts for coins that I cover if you're not familiar with that. And make sure you check out our new and improved, or just new in general, TikTok and YouTube shorts. A lot of fun there. Check that out. Pick whatever works best for you. I do look forward to working with you. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Take care.